There are plenty of cheap cars in America, but very few of them make people stop, pull out their phones, and wonder if everything they know about cars is about to change. Then I walked into an auto show in China and spotted something that looked more like a toy than a real vehicle. 3 wheels, a tiny cabin, plastic body panels, and a price tag of just $1,000. At first, I honestly thought it was some kind of joke. Maybe a concept car. Maybe something built only for display. But then I noticed people opening the doors. Sitting inside, asking questions, even placing orders. That's when I realized this wasn't a prototype. This was a real vehicle, built for real people. And suddenly, this stopped being the story of one strange little car. It became a story about 2 completely different ways of thinking. One side believes a car should be bigger, more powerful, more luxurious. The other asks a much simpler question. What if getting from point A to point B didn't have to cost $40,000? The car that shouldn't exist. The first thing that surprises you isn't the price, it's the size. Standing next to it, it barely feels like you're looking at a car at all. It's somewhere between a motorcycle, a golf cart, and a tiny city commuter. Then you open the door, and everything starts changing. There's a steering wheel, real seats, seat belts, power windows, a digital display, even a surprisingly clean interior. Nothing looks expensive, but nothing feels unfinished either. The longer you spend around it, the stranger it becomes, because every part feels intentional. Nothing extra, nothing flashy, nothing built simply to impress. Instead, every decision seems to answer one question. What is the simplest possible way to move one person through a city? That's a question most Americans rarely have to ask. Our roads are bigger, our parking spaces are bigger, our trucks are bigger, our expectations are bigger. For decades, the American dream has often been measured in horsepower, cargo space, and road trips that stretch across entire states. But this little machine wasn't designed for Texas. It wasn't designed for Montana. It wasn't even trying to compete with an SUV. It was designed for apartment neighborhoods, crowded city streets, morning grocery runs, 5-mile commutes. And suddenly, judging it by American standards no longer makes much sense. Where does a $1,000 car come from? At some point, you stop asking why it's so small, and you start asking something much more interesting. How can anyone build an electric vehicle this cheaply? The answer doesn't begin at the auto show. It begins inside a factory. Long before anyone ever opens the door or turns the key, someone starts with nothing more than steel tubing, a bare frame, a few electric motors, simple battery packs. One piece at a time, a vehicle slowly comes to life. Watching that process changes the way you look at the finished product. You begin noticing what isn't there. No oversized battery, no expensive leather, no massive infotainment system, no complicated electronics trying to impress buyers. Instead, everything serves one purpose: keep moving. That doesn't mean the engineers stopped caring. It means they cared about something different. Instead of asking, what feature can we add? They kept asking, what feature can we remove? Because every extra part adds weight, adds cost, adds complexity. Somewhere along the way, the philosophy completely flipped. The goal wasn't building the best car. The goal was building the most affordable transportation possible. And surprisingly, those two goals don't always lead to the same destination. Two different worlds. The more I watched, the more I realized I wasn't really comparing two cars. I was comparing two cultures. In America, cars often represent freedom, power, identity. They're part of who we are. People spend weekends modifying them, polishing them, showing them off. Sometimes the vehicle becomes almost as important as the destination itself. But here, transportation feels much more practical. The mission is simple. Leave home, get to work, pick up groceries, go home. Do it as cheaply as possible. Everything else becomes optional. That's why this tiny three-wheeler feels so unfamiliar to American eyes. It isn't trying to inspire emotion. It isn't trying to turn heads. It simply solves a problem. And in many cities, it solves that problem surprisingly well. Standing there, looking at hundreds of people surrounding this little vehicle, I couldn't stop thinking about one question. Maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. Instead of asking, how much car can we build? Maybe we should also ask, how much car do we actually need? The real test begins. Seeing a vehicle under bright showroom lights is one thing. Living with it is something completely different. The first few minutes behind the wheel feel almost surreal. Everything happens at a different pace. You sit lower, the cabin feels narrower, the steering feels lighter. Every movement reminds you that this machine wasn't built for speed. It was built for efficiency. And strangely, that becomes part of its charm. There isn't a giant engine roaring under the hood, no complicated driving modes, no endless menu screens asking you to customize everything. You simply press the throttle and go. For short trips, for neighborhood streets, for places where traffic rarely moves faster than 30 miles an hour, that's often enough. Then something unexpected happens. Instead of constantly thinking about what this little vehicle can't do, you begin noticing everything it doesn't need to do. It doesn't need to tow a boat. It doesn't need to cross 3 states in one weekend. It doesn't need to impress anyone at a stoplight. Its entire purpose is much smaller. And because of that, it becomes surprisingly good at exactly what it was designed to do. That's a lesson the modern auto industry sometimes forgets. Not every vehicle has to solve every problem. Sometimes solving one problem extremely well is enough. America built big. China built small. For more than a century, America mastered one kind of automobile: long highways, wide suburbs, powerful engines, full-size pickups. Vehicles built for distance, built for families, built for freedom. China grew under very different conditions: dense cities, crowded streets, limited parking, short daily commutes. Instead of asking drivers to adapt to larger vehicles, manufacturers adapted the vehicle to the city. The result wasn't a cheaper American car. It became an entirely different category. Japan reached a similar conclusion decades ago. K cars proved that millions of people didn't always need something larger. Sometimes, small simply works better. Different countries, different roads, different lifestyles, yet surprisingly similar ideas. That's why comparing this tiny three-wheeler to an American pickup almost misses the point. They aren't competing against each other. They're solving different problems. One is designed to cross states. The other is designed to cross neighborhoods. Neither is wrong. They're simply answers to different questions. And maybe that's the biggest surprise of all. This little EV isn't trying to replace your truck. It isn't trying to replace your SUV. It isn't trying to replace every car on the road. It's quietly creating an entirely new space underneath them, a space many automakers ignored for decades. The question I didn't expect to ask. When I first walked into that auto show, I expected to laugh. Honestly, I thought I'd spend a few minutes looking at a strange little vehicle, take a few pictures, and move on. Instead, I walked away asking questions I never expected. Why have cars become so expensive? How many features do we actually use every day? How much of a modern vehicle is built because we truly need it? And how much is built simply because we've come to expect it? This tiny three-wheeled EV doesn't answer every one of those questions. It isn't perfect. It has limitations. It wouldn't fit every road or every lifestyle, especially not across much of America. But maybe perfection isn't the point. Every major shift in transportation started with an idea that looked too small, too slow, too strange, or too unrealistic. The first automobiles were mocked. The first electric cars were dismissed. Even the first Japanese economy cars were underestimated by many Americans. History has a habit of repeating itself. Maybe this little three-wheeler never changes America. Maybe it remains exactly where it belongs, serving crowded cities on the other side of the world. Or maybe, 20 years from now, we'll look back at vehicles like this the same way we now look at the first compact imports that quietly changed the American market decades ago. When I walked into that exhibition, I thought I was looking at the cheapest car in the room. By the time I left, I realized I had actually been looking at one of the biggest questions facing the future of transportation. Not how fast can we build the next car, but how little do we actually need a car to be? And somehow, that question may end up being far more important than the answer.